Hello and welcome to the show. So you want to be a gambler 2022. I am your co-host, Miss Andrea. This is our special anniversary show. And it's entitled The Top 10 Myths in Craps and Dice Setting. Or what you read in some books may not always be correct. Our special guest is author, sports handicapper, and gambling expert, John Patrick. Your host is the one and only G-Man, aka G Craps, and the author of the Platinum Craps and Dice Setting book. Direct from Las Vegas, the gambling capital of the world. Let's give it up for the G-Man Garrison.
So let me just start over. It's our anniversary show. We wanted to thank everybody on Facebook and YouTube and all the groups on YouTube and all the groups on Facebook. We hope the sound is now working. Put up a couple. All right, and we brought in John Patrick. He's on the line, so he's going to be coming in a little bit later. Since it's our anniversary show, we wanted to thank everybody, all the new people that bought the Platinum Craps and Super System. We have over 100 new members that are now Super System members. And we wanted to thank the Gamblers Bookstore for all their help. I just spoke to Jill, the new owner. She said the book's been doing really well. Some of the months it's been #1 in her store, so we thank that. And just everybody in general. Over the last year, we met a lot of people. I had the privilege of meeting Jeremy from Color Up. He did a big event last month here in Vegas. It was called the Dice Con. He did a tremendous job. I know how much work he put into that, so we want to salute Jeremy for all the hard work he did. I also want to thank a gentleman by the name of John C. from Craps. We met John. He was kind enough to do a really nice review on Amazon. Thank you, John. We appreciate that for the Platinum Craps book. I was on his show a couple days ago, and he was kind enough to go over a couple things and advertise it. Okay, so we thank everybody. Speaking of books, and I'm going to take these off because I want to get serious. I did a show on Talking Craps with David Carlton. He did a great job. You know, I mean, David puts in a lot of work in his show. And one of the questions, I think it was from Dice Grinders, I may not. Why did I write the book and put all the John Patrick's classes on flash drive? And to answer the question, it was real simple. I've got a lot of books in my collection, okay? I just got tired of reading a lot of things that weren't correct. And the authors would give you half of the scenario, but they wouldn't give you the whole scenario. Okay, just click.
There's no audio again.
So what we did was we just wrote a book that gives you the whole scenario of the situation. And a lot of people don't know how much work goes into writing a book. Okay, right on the right here. All right, right there. Click. All right, so a lot of people don't know what it takes to write a book. First of all, you have to have something to say. All right, that's pretty important. Then you have to write the book. Then you have to do all the layout and put in the photos and all that stuff. Then you have to print the copies, and to start, you have to really do 1,000 copies just to get the ball rolling, or it doesn't pay. All right, you have to do all of that up front, and guess what? You have to pay for everything, okay? And you're out a lot of money, and you haven't sold one book. Now, guess what? That's the easy part. Miss A, I'm going to bring back Miss A for a second. After you do all that, if I can find her real quick. After you do all that and you print it and you write it and everything like that, what do you think the hard part is after you've done all that work?
The hard part
is you have to sell the book.
Oh, yes.
All right, so now you have to go out and sell the book.
Your audience has to know about it.
Right. All right. So that's the hard part. You've done all the work, but now you've got to get the word out and let people know what to do and where to find it. All right. So it's a really big project, and people don't really understand how much work is done. Okay. And then I had people go on YouTube or Facebook or whatever, and they said, "Oh, Garrison, we didn't like that you put the information on Facebook on where to buy your book and how to get a hold of it." I'm sorry. How do you expect people to learn about where to get it? I mean, it's an expensive project, and advertising is very expensive. So, yes, we did go on YouTube, we did go on Facebook, and we let people know where to get it. But then people started to read it and they said, "Oh, this information is pretty interesting." There's an old saying in sales: if you want to sell the steak, you have to sell the sizzle. So that's what we did. We went out and sold the sizzle. But no matter what happens, there's always some people that are going to criticize you without even reading the information. There was one review on Amazon, and the gentleman said, "I didn't buy your book, and here's my review." I went, "What? I don't understand that. How can you review a book you haven't even read?" But, what are you going to do? As Socrates once said, when the argument is lost, slander becomes the method of the loser. So I think you should at least read the book before you make a statement. But overall, we've had a lot of thumbs up. I would say over 95%. The reviews have been good. You can go on Amazon, read them yourself. Don't believe what I say. I'm just the author. Read what the other people have to say. And by the way, people don't care who wrote a book. What they care about is it going to help me? Is it worth my investment? Did I learn something from it? That's what people want to know when they read a book. Some myths on things that have been written in books, all right? And hopefully you'll learn a few things. So, by the way, pop quiz. You know what's great about the game of craps? You could be standing next to the greatest player in the world. You could be standing next to John Patrick. Or you could be standing next to the worst player in the table that's never even played. You're playing your own game within a game. Some people are making pass line bets. Some people are making don't pass. Some people are making hardways. There's a million different bets. It doesn't affect your game what they do. You have to know the big four, the little three. You have to be knowledgeable. You have to really know the game from top to bottom. That's what's going to make you a better player. And that's what we've tried to do. All right. So, Miss Andrea,
Garrison.
That's my opening statement. What do you think?
I think you definitely have their attention.
Well, we'll see. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Let's get started. All right, I think that I think it's time to get this get this thing started. And well, I was going to hit. All right, so it's post time, boys and girls. There you go. All right, Miss Andrea is going to read the questions or the myths, and we're going to start out with the first myth. And let's see, Miss Andrea, what is the first myth we have for the day?
Okay, so number 10, our first myth of today. There is no such thing as positive or negative energy at the table.
No such thing as positive or negative energy. Well, first of all, there's 4 types of tables. There's a do table with a lot of energy and numbers are rolling. That's everyone's favorite. The second type of table is the don't table, where everyone's 7 and out. That's a negative table. The third type of table is a choppy table. Win a hand, lose a hand. Heads, tails, heads, tails. You have to be a psychic to figure out that table. And the fourth type of table, and I put this in the book, is what they call a torpedo table. We've all been to them. Put some more. We've all been to them. A torpedo table is where no matter where you make your bet, it comes up opposite. All right? You're just not in the force of the energy. There's a yin and yang in the energy in the world. The Chinese call it qi. So you have to get into that energy. All right? So there is an energy at the table. And next month, we're going to do a show called Lady Luck, the energy of the universe and the energy of the table. All right? Just click it, okay? We're trying to put up a couple of your your
There it is.
okay, well, with the book up. So we will put up some of your comments, and she's going to write down the questions because I know you're going to have some questions. So anyways, there's definitely an energy at the table, and you have to get into that energy and find out what it is. All right. Next month, we're going to do a whole show on that. So, all right, let's see.
Number 9.
Miss Andrea,
Yes.
what is
Number 9.
what is number 9?
Number 9 is the 7 is rolled every 6 rolls.
The 7 is rolled every 6 rolls. Well, how many times have you heard that, guys? All right, but just think. Let's use some logic. Put up a couple. Let's use logic. All right, I'm going to go to the table. Let me switch to the table real quick. All right, if the 7 was rolled every 6 rolls, it would be real simple. All right, we would just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then put a big giant bet either in the come section or hop to 7 for $100 per hop. But the 7's not rolled every 6 rolls. And here's what the mathematicians leave out. Everybody knows the 36 combinations on a set of dice. Okay, click. If the 7 was rolled every 6 rolls, it would be so easy. But what they forget to tell you is that that's over thousands of rolls. You're only at the table for 100 rolls or two, maybe 100, 200 rolls. So it's like being on a Mickey Mouse Club on a Wednesday. Anything can happen in that short period of time. All right. I always teach with a calculator. I suggest you get one, a calculator. If you take 100 rolls into 10,000, it's 0.1%, 0.01%. So anything can happen in that short game because you're there for such a short period of time. I've rolled 5 7s in a row on the come out. Of course, I was dice setting. But what happened to 1 7 every 6 rolls? Does that mean I'm not going to roll a 7 for 36 times 5? Of course not. The 7 could come up the next roll. So what I did was in the book, and I think it's on page 19. Let me borrow the book real quick. All right, I gave you the 36. I gave you the 36 combinations. All right, I think it's page 19. Let me see. I forget myself. Yeah, there you go. So this is the chart that gives you the 36 combinations. But this is according to Hoyle over thousands of rolls. Like I said, anything can happen in that short period of time. Write down some questions.
What are the questions?
So you have to bet accordingly. Bet on the side of the table that's either winning or losing. Okay?
I don't see questions.
Yeah, questions. Just whatever it
They're
is.
not asking any questions. That's the problem.
All right.
They're saying hello.
All right. Well, we're going to wait for some questions.
Yeah.
Miss Andrea's looking. We're getting all these hellos and things like
there are
that.
no questions.
All right.
Bring
But
it.
anyways,
Bring on the
again,
questions.
if the 7 was rolled every 6 rolls, it'd be so easy. We just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'd make a huge bet on the 7. Well, it's not going to happen, guys. It's kind of like being on the Mickey Mouse Club on a Wednesday. Do you know what Wednesday was? Anything can happen day. So anything can happen while you're at the table for that short period of time. Yes, over thousands of rolls, you're going to see a 7 rolled every 6 rolls. You're going to see 112 and 1-2, etc. If you go back to Patricia DeMuro, who did 154 rolls in 4 hours, if you take 154 rolls, or 36 divided into 154 rolls, because there's 36 combinations on a set of dice, that comes out to 4.27. So what I did is I took all the combinations, multiplied them by 4.27. So if you're doing the math according to Hoyle, she rolled about 24, 25 7s. All right? But they all came out on the come-out roll. That's why everybody was winning. But she rolled a lot of 7s, okay? It wasn't 1 7 every 6 rolls. So you have to use a little common sense. You have to use a little bit of actual math. And all these mathematicians tell you, oh, it's going to be 1 7 every 6 rolls. No, it's not. Over thousands of rolls, yes, but in a short period of time, it's not, all right? So check out page 19, read that chapter. All right, let's go to
There's some questions.
Miss Megan or Miss Andrea, and I'm going to go to page, if you have the book, I'm going to jump to page 42. Miss Andrea, what's myth number 9?
Number 8.
Or number 8, yeah.
So, myth number 8, this is for the dice setters.
Oh, dice setters.
Yes,
okay.
the Hardway set is the best set to avoid the 7.
Well, how many times have you heard that? I mean, I've got a couple books, and they all say the same thing. Here's one, Sharpshooter, and I actually like this book, but it says that this all 7 set is the best set to avoid the 7. Frank Scarbetti, Golden Touch. These guys all know each other, so they just basically cut and pasted everyone's book. The come out set, all 7, or the come out set's the best set to avoid the 7. And the newest book in my collection is from Golden Touch, and he just cut and pasted what Frank said and put it in his book, that the come out set's the best set to avoid the 7. I'm definitely going to go to the table for this. Okay. So what I want to do is I'm going to go to the table, and then I'm going to come in. All right. All right, so here we are at the table. Here's your Hardway set, all right? But if each die double pitches, you have all 7s. And each die could double pitch forward, or they could double pitch backwards, all right? And I did a show called The Truth About Dice Setting. Go see that show, it gets a lot deeper. But one die could single pitch forward, the other die could single pitch backwards. That's all 7. Or this die could single pitch backwards and this one forward. Either way. So there's so many ways to roll a 7 off the come out set. In fact, here's the way it breaks down. I made it real easy for you. Random, you know that there's 6 ways out of 36 combinations to roll a 7. That's 16.66%. Basic math. Every set has 16 combinations because you're rolling 4 sides times 4 sides. That's 16 combinations. Well, if you can roll the 7 from the Hardway set 4 different ways, what's 4 into 16? 25%. And then when you use the sets that we show you in the dice setting book, you can get it down to 2 ways for the 7 out of 16 combinations. Well, 2 into 16 is 12.5%. So here's the way it breaks down, guys. Random, you have 6 out of 36, 16.66%. The Hardway set, aka the come out set, which is the all 7 set, 4 ways out of 16. That's 25%. That's the highest you can get. And then random, the other sets, after you set your point, like the 3V set and the other sets, you have 2 ways for the 7 out of 16 combinations. That takes you to 12.5%. So this myth about you can only roll a 7, you can't roll a 7 from the Hardway set. Well, if they let you glue the dice together, then that's gonna be the case. But the last time I went to the casino and I asked the boxman, "Excuse me, Mr. Boxman, do you mind if I glue the dice together so I can just roll Hardways?" He said, "Well, I'd like to, but you can't." So there's 4 ways to roll the 7, 25%. So is that a myth? It's not a myth. It's just false. It's false information. You have to know how many ways you can roll each number in each combination of sets. So there's 4 ways to roll the 7 from the Hardway set, aka come out set, aka all 7 set. Do we have any questions?
We do.
All right, let's take a little break, and I'm going to have Miss Andrea ask John or myself a question. All right, so let's come back. What's the question?
So we have a question.
Who's it from?
Let's see. We got Daniel Junkie. You're good.
Right
Yep.
here.
So he's saying any strategy suggestions on CRAPS less tables?
I'm sorry, what? Read it out. I can't read it.
Any strategy suggestions on CRAPS less tables?
Less tables. Where's the statement?
Well,
Put it
Daniel
up.
Junkie.
Put it up. Put it up. Find it.
Okay.
She has a question from Daniel, but I can't understand it. Here it is. Figure out what sets work. Is this it?
He has a couple of them though. Let me see.
All right. With dice setting, you need to figure out what sets work. Yeah, we know that. Here's one. Let me go to this one. Garrison, the best on access percentage is indicated by bone tracker. Yeah, well, we'll get into that in a second. Here's the way it works. You have 16 combinations for every set. All right, that's it. That's all you can get. The best you can get on dice setting is 3 ways for the 6, 3 ways for the 8, 2 ways for the 4, 5, 9, and 10, and 2 ways for the 7. All right, that's it. And I don't care if you use 200 sets or 400 sets or 56 sets. All right, put it up. You can only get 3 ways for the 6 and 8, 2 ways for the 4, 5, 9, and 10, and 2 ways for the 7. That's it. All right, now on the don't side, you get more ways. But I don't really care. What's the question? Indicated by bone tracker, at best 55% on access. Well, we tell people you're going to go at least 50% on access, but I'm talking about if you're on access 100% of the time. The best you can get, 3 ways for the 6, 3 ways for the 8, 2 ways for the 4, 5, 9, and 10, and 2 ways for the 7. So the odds go from 6 to 5 on the 6 and the 8 to 3 to 2 in your favor. It's an even money bet on the 4, 5, 9, and 10. 2 ways to make the number, 2 ways to 7 out. That's it. And most dice setters don't even know how many combinations you can make on each set of dice. But that's the answer. 3 ways for the 6 and 8, 2 ways for all the other numbers, 2 ways for the 7. So it's a crapshoot on the 4, 5, 9, and 10, even money, and 3 ways for the 6 or 8, 2 ways for the 7, if you stay on access. Do we have another question?
Can we go back to, he meant crapless table. See right here.
Crapless. All right, so here, put that. I think this question is for, what do we do on crapless tables? Well, the odds don't change, all right? I have a friend who's a big crapless player, all right? And when your point's 2 or 12, they pay you 6 to 1 odds. He said, I love to roll 2s and 12s. So I took him to a table here that has the repeater bet. I said, instead of putting $10 on your pass line and taking $10 odds, it's only going to pay you $70, 60 for the odds, $10 for your pass line bet, which is what Crapless pays. I said, put $10 on the 2 and $10 on the 12. On a repeater bet, it pays 40 to 1. 40 to 1, not 6 to 1. Well, he actually hit it, all right? So he had a $10 bet on the 2 and 12. He hit one and paid $400. And remember, on Crapless, Craps, or repeater, you have to roll a number twice. The first time, it just gets you to the number. You didn't win anything. It just puts the bet into effect. The second time you roll a number is when you win. But on Crapless, Craps, he got paid even money on the pass line bet, which is a terrible payoff. 6 to 1 on his odds. On the repeater bet, he got paid 40 to 1. So you have to put your money on the parts of the table or on the tables that are going to pay you the highest ROI, which is return on investment. So if I was a Crapless Craps player, I'd just go find a repeater table and bet the 2-12 pays 40 to 1. The 3 and 11 pays 50 to 1, but you got to roll that number 3 times. All right. Anything else, or should we go to?
We do. What are your thoughts on playing video craps? He's looking for a trend opposed to.
Where is it? Put it up.
Right there, right. Bob M.
All right. So I want you to click it. Click it.
Okay.
All right. We got a message from Bob, or a question. What are your thoughts about playing video craps? Looking for trends opposed to the real table. I'm a little skeptical on these bubble craps and all that stuff. Every time I play bubble craps, it's like they have a camera inside. And if I'm betting the don't, the point happens. If I'm betting the do, it 7's out. I like to be at a table with real people. I like to pick up that energy, all right? I've only played bubble craps. I haven't played these other electronic games. Some people have good luck with them. I'd rather roll the dice. All right? I like the feel of the dice. I don't want a machine throwing the dice for me. But, you just have to try it and see what works for you. But personally, I'm old school. I like to be at a table. I like to have the feel for the dice. I like to find the energy. I always chart the table. That's really important. John's been talking about that for years, charting the table. Seeing if it's a hot table, a don't table, etc. All right, before we go to the next myth, do we have any more questions? question. Dan DVD. What is it?
How do you play the come out roll?
How do I play the come out roll? We're going to get into that in a second, Dan. All right. That's another myth, that the come is a great bet on the come out roll because you can win on the 7-Eleven. That's one of the myths we're going to get into. All right, let's get back to
number 7.
Number 7. Where are we at? Number 7. Okay, we're still in dice setting. Go ahead, Miss
Andrea. Okay, so number 7 myth is just place the 2V or 3V set on top and you have the correct dice set.
All right. Well, if you guys have any books on dice setting, all right, you're always going to hear this, the 2V, the 3V. I never call it the 2V or the 3V because it's not the 2V or the 3V. Let me see if I can get a split screen here. All right, you know what? I'll just come in here. Picture in picture. Okay. All right, I put this in the book. All right, where are the dice? Everyone says, all you got to do is put the 3V on, okay? And you've got 6s and 8s all the way around. That's what the books tell you. But what if the dealer sends you over the dice? There's a 3V, right? All right, it's on top, 3V. But you have the 3V. Now you have the 11. Then you have the hard 8, and then you have the 3. All right? You don't have 6s and 8s all the way around. You know why? You didn't have the right inside access numbers. Dice setting is all about the inside access numbers. All this myth about put these numbers on top and these numbers on the bottom and turn around and do the hokey pokey, that's not what dice setting's about, all right? There's 6 master sets. 4 of them work for the do shooter, 2 of them work for the don't shooter. If you don't learn your 6 master sets, you're never going to be a successful dice setter, all right? And also about the 2V, all right? They talk about the 2V. I put this in the book. All right, let's get the 2V. All right. Where is it? 4 and 6. All right, there's the 2V. You got 4s and 10s all the way around, right? But what happens if the dealer sends you over the dice? All right. There's the 2V, but you've got the 2V. Now you've got a 9. Now you've got a 5. All right. And then you're back to the 2V. Because you didn't have the right inside access numbers. So just because you have the 2V or the 3V on top doesn't mean you have the right set. And that's one of the things I put in my book, and I show you the wrong 2V, I show you the wrong 3V. There's 6 sets. All you have to do is be able to count to 6. It's all about the inside access numbers. My little niece is 10 years old. She can set the dice for any number you want. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Why? She can count to 6. All you have to do is be able to count to 6 and put the right inside access numbers. And I had one guy, this was unbelievable. I had one guy who said, well, I've got a spreadsheet with 576 sets. I went, what? 576 sets? It's impossible to have 2 dice with only 6 sides with 576 sets. What they do is they take these sets. Every set has the A side and a B side. I did a whole show. Go see The Truth About Dice Setting. We don't have time to get into it. But you have an A side and a B side. You can also go B and A. All right, it's the same set. You haven't changed your 16 combinations. Or you can go AA, or you can go BB. All right, it's just physics. You still have 16 combinations. All right, so what they do is they take the 6 combinations times 4, because you have 4 mini sets, times 16, and they come up with 384 sets. Well, it's not. It's 384 combinations. There's only 6 sets, guys. We tried to take something that's complicated and make it simple. These guys try to take something simple and make it complicated. I don't understand it. So I asked the gentleman, all right, sir, if you're set, you have 576 sets, what set do you use for the 5? He said, well, I don't really know. I said, well, there's a set that has the 5s and 9s all the way around. It's real simple. All you have to do is learn one of the 6 master sets, and that'll answer your question. I mean, can you imagine being at a table? Excuse me, dealer. I got to look at my spreadsheet. I'm trying for the 5, but I don't know if it's set 322, 146, 423. I'll be with you in about 5 minutes. Can you give me another 5 minutes so I can look at my spreadsheet? What are you guys doing? It's ridiculous. Okay? Any questions? All right. Now we got to bring in John real quick. All right, because I know he's out there. I've got one more on dice setting. Okay. All right, well, I'm going to have her look at some questions and see if we can get some questions up there. Give me the next myth. All right.
Okay, so
what's the next myth?
Myth number 6.
Number 6
is the higher your SRR and tracking all your rolls will tell you everything you need to know when dice setting.
All right. Everyone's heard about SRR. All right. I'm going to go to a split screen. Okay. Single to roll ratio. All right. That's your SRR. And then guys say, well, I'm going to use all this fancy software to track my rolls. A friend of mine just called me about a week ago, and he had the tracking on his computer. And I said, well, what did you learn? He said, you know what I learned? It's like having an Xbox for adults. You play with it for about a month or so, and then you realize no matter what set you put in, the 5 on the right, the 1 on the left, the 1 on the left, the 5 on the right, they all fall in within the 6 sets. That's what he learned. I said, thank you. That was in the book. All right. It doesn't matter if the 5's on the one side and the 1 is on the other, or the 1's on one side and the 5's on the other, or the 4's on one side and the 2's on the other, or it's reversed. They all pay the same. Pay me, give me the dice back, and let's keep rolling. All right. But if you want to put it in all your numbers, left and right and left, top, bottom, go ahead. We don't have time for that. We just want to get the dice, use the right set from the 6 master sets, roll the dice, make your number, and get paid. All right? I work with a lot of good teachers and dice setters. They don't use any of this software because they understand there's 3 ways for the 6, 3 ways for the 8, 2 ways for the 4, 5, 9, and 10, and 2 ways for the 7. That's it. And you can show me any set you want, top, bottom, sideways, bottom. I will show you it falls into one of the 6 master sets. It's not that hard, guys. Stop taking something simple and making it complicated. Take something complicated and make it simple. We use the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. Now, for SRR, all the books say, oh, you have to have a high SRR or you're not a good dice setter. Really? I rolled 5 7s in a row on the come out roll, okay? I had 5 7s in a row, all right? So I went on the pass line once. I went on the pass line twice. I went on the pass line 3 times. I went on the pass line 4 times. I went on the pass line 5 times. I rolled 5 7s in 5 rolls. What's my SRR? Anyone? Anyone? Bueller? Somebody tell me what my SRR was. I had a 500% return on investment. I rolled 5 7s in 5 rolls. What's my SRR? Now, if I have a low SRR, what are they going to do? Send you to SRR prison in Russia? Then you can sit next to that girl with from the basketball team? Yeah, I'm going off script. I don't care. But I mean, all this SRR, it doesn't matter. You know what matters? When you roll a 7. That's what counts. You want to roll the 7 on the come out roll, all right? If you're playing on the don't side, you want to roll the 7 after a couple DC bets. But like I said, go back to the lady from Bogota. She rolled approximately 24, 25 7s, all right? But they were all on a come out roll. You think she cared what her SRR was? No, okay? I don't care what my SRR is. I care about when I roll the 7. By the way, I rolled 5 7s in 5 rolls. Take out your calculator with a percentage key. All right, my SRR was 1. That's it, 1. 5 rolls, 5 7s, SRR 1. But I had a 500% profit. ROI is more important than SRR. But all these guys try to make it so complicated and confuse you. All right? All right. We're going to bring in John pretty soon. Where are we at? I forget where we're at. We're at number 5.
Number 5.
Give me number 5.
Number 5 myth. The pass line and come bets are the best bets at the table because you win with the 7 and 11.
All right, how many times have you heard that? The come out roll is the best roll. Put your money on the pass line. Read some questions down. So you're going to win on the pass line with the 7-11. All right. Boy, I answered this question every week in the class. All right. Here it is. I did this in the last class, but for the people that missed it, there's 36 combinations on a set of dice, correct? All right. You can win on the pass line 8 ways. 2, 4, 6. With the 7 or 11. All right. Get your calculator out, guys. That's 22.5% out of 100. That's what you can win on. You've got 28 ways that you're not going to win. That's 77.5%. All right? 3 out of 4. And 4 of those you're going to lose with the 2, 3, and 12. All right? The rest of the numbers are going to be point numbers that you have to roll twice. Because the first time you roll it, you don't make a nickel. Now you have to put that bet up on the pass line or up on the place bets, and you have to roll the number twice to win. All right. So is the pass line or come bet a great bet? No, it's not. You've got 22% chance of winning, 77.7% chance of not winning. And let's say I have a pass line bettor and I'm playing. All right. He has to roll out of those bets. If we put $500 on the table and he says that the 7's going to come every 6 rolls, he has to win at least 3 of those. All right. If he doesn't, he's going to lose. And let's just try it real quick. I mean, we'll just grab a set of dice. 7's going to roll every 6 rolls, right? 1, there's a 4, 2, 6, 3, 6, 4, 6, 3 6s in a row. 5, 5, 6, 8, 7. All right, the 7 came out in the 7th roll, not the 6th roll, okay? That goes back to the 7 being rolled every 6 rolls. But anyways, is the pass line or the come bet a great bet? That one you only have a 66% chance of winning and 77% chance of not winning. 4 ways to lose with the 2, 3, or 12. And the rest of these numbers are going to be point numbers that you have to roll twice. So in the super system, we show you how to bypass the come out roll. I never bet the pass line. Never. Unless I'm rolling the dice, then I have to. But is it a great bet? No. And every book's going to tell you, oh, the 7 comes every 6 rolls. You have to bet the pass line, blah, blah, blah. I have a friend of mine who's a teacher, and he teaches at one of the high limit tables. Well, he used to teach at regular tables. Now he's at the high limit tables. And they always tell you, bet the pass line, take 1 or 2 come bets, blah, 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 blah. And I said, Jimmy, why are you teaching this way? This doesn't really help the player. It's not the way to play professionally. He said, let me tell you something. We have meetings with management, all right? They tell us how they want us to teach. He said, I don't get paid to teach people how to win. That's not my job. I get paid to teach people just enough so they think they can win and get them up to the table. That's their job. Remember, if the dealer's teaching you how to play, he works for the house. He's going to teach you the way the house tells him to teach. All right, the house wants all your money. We don't teach that way. All right, we teach you how to play as a professional player would play, not as a dealer would play. There's a big difference. All right. All right. Where are we at? Number
4.
All right. Let me get the book up real quick. Number 4.
Number 4 myth. Always lay the maximum odds when playing on the don't side.
Oh my God! Always
to lower your house edge.
Lower your house edge by playing the maximum odds on the don't. How many times have you said that? It's in every book I have. Well, not my book and not John Patrick's book, but you pull out your books, and every book's going to tell you the same. John has about 250 pages on the don't side. All right, in this book. How to hedge bet, how to do all kinds of things, the ricochet system, the Patrick system, 41 no 10, about 250 pages just on the don't. You pull out your books, I'll tell you what they're going to say. Make a don't pass line bet, and as soon as that bet goes into effect, lay the maximum odds the table allows. Why? You've got the house against the wall. If you're betting on a don't pass line and you win, they have to pay you 100% return on investment. All right, let me go to the table real quick. If you lay odds, the more odds you lay, the lower your return on investment. Now, I did a whole show on this, but for the people that didn't see it, I'll do this real quick, okay? You've got $10 on the pass, on the don't pass, all right? And let's say the point's 5 or 9. I'm going to keep it in units of 5, so it's easy. And we're going to bet $30 odds, all right? Because this is what the books tell you. Oh, don't forget to lay your odds. All right, here, dealer, take more of my money. You know, just take more of my money, because if I win less, and if I lose it all. All right. So let's say you win. They pay you 100%, dollar for dollar on the pass line bet. You had them against the wall. Now you gave back some of that power because you bet 30 to win 20. I mean, it's insane. I don't understand it. So here's the way it figures. Get your calculator out. You take the money that you won, in this case 20. You divide it by how much you bet, in this case 30. Hit your percent key. You won 66% of your bet. You bet 30 to win 20. All right? The person that didn't lay odds gets 10 for 10, or 20 for 20, or 30 for 30. He gets 100% return on his money, not 66%. I don't understand it. It's just ridiculous. Now, we do definitely believe in hedge betting, things like that. And then what about the wizards and all these mathematicians, you know, that say, lay the maximum odds? All right, say he's playing at a table that has 100 times odds. 2, 4, 6, 8. All right, he's going to lay $1,000 against his 10. Here, dealer, take all my money. All right? Your point's 410, best point you can get. Let's say he wins. He wins 100% on his don't pass, and he only wins $500 on his lay bet. So he bet $1,010 to win $510. I mean, are you crazy? I mean, why would you do that? Your return on investment is 50.49%. Trust me, I've done it. But the guy next to him who didn't lay odds, his return's 100%. It's ROI, not house edge or house vig. You know, we have an old saying, all this house vig is crap. It doesn't mean anything. And on the don't side, the more odds you lay, the less your return on investment. Stop laying odds. Put more money on the don't pass, hedge bet it, it's in the super system, you know, and win more money. Because when you lose everything. And when you win, you're winning a lot less than you should. All right, we have any questions?
All right, we do. Dice grinders.
Where is it? I
That's
guess
the higher up. He's saying people charting and writing the rolls at the table. What do you think about that?
Well, there are. Where's it at? I can't find it. Put
Right
it up,
there.
click it up. I want you to click it.
Yeah, I clicked it like
All right,
10
so
times.
here you go, guys. Dice grinders. What do you think about people charting and writing the rolls at the table? It's not a bad system. There are some systems out there that tell you to chart the table. We're going to get into that. They're called cluster numbers. All right, numbers don't roll random. Certain numbers roll during a game more than others. They're called cluster numbers or signature numbers. There is a program out there that tells you to chart the table. So if these guys know what they're doing and they're writing the numbers down, you're going to see patterns of numbers. All right, and what they're looking for is a certain pattern. So I'm not against that at all. If I see a number roll 2 times within 5 rolls, I'm on it. Okay, because that number keeps rolling. All right, you're going to sometimes you'll see 4 sixes in a row. All right, you'll see 4 sixes in a row with no 8s. Well, 6 is that cluster number, so you want to place the 8 or place the 6. Excuse me. You bet the numbers that are rolling. You leave them up for 5 rolls. If they don't hit, you bring them back down. They're called disappearing numbers. But when that number is rolling, you know, go with it. I was trying to set the dice for 6 and 8s one roll at one session. I rolled 12 field numbers in a row. And I wasn't even trying for field numbers. After the 3rd field number, what did I do? I got on the field because the dice were rolling field numbers. They weren't rolling 6s and 8s. So, nothing wrong with charting the table. All right, what do you prefer, to lay the 9 or lay the 10 to protect your don't pass? Skill and luck. I don't really lay that many numbers, skill and luck, because I'm putting too much money on the table. Here's what I do. I come through the DC bets. I love the don't come bets. It's one of the best bets at the table. That's why the box is so small. Now I'm getting 100% return on my money. All right, with the lay bet, I got to lay 31 on the 9 to win 19, or I got to lay 41 to win 20 on the 10. I don't want a 50% or 66% return on investment. I want a 100% return on my investment. So I like to come through the DC box. Then I hedge it. Now I got the house against the wall. All right. There are times when I do lay the 9. It's in my book under the super Garrison Super Come Out roll or set. It's in the back of the book. Read it, and it tells you then I'll lay the 5 and 9. All right. We don't have time to get into it, but I'd rather do the DC bets because once I get that bet behind the number, I can hedge it. I've got the house against the wall. All right. They don't like to see a lot of DC bets. I did a show where I told you how I rolled 9 don't games in a row, and we used a lot of DC bets and hedge it. And the boxman was getting a little upset. All right. Where are we at?
Got one more question.
Where are we at?
Question.
What number?
We got a question though.
Oh, question. John, are you there? We're on a delay. So, John, are you still there? Put that up. Yeah, we're on a delay.
I'm here.
All right. Listen, we had a question. I think you'd be able to answer this. Are place bets good bets, and should you keep pressing? So he wants to know about how place bets, are they good bets, and should you keep pressing those place bets? John's on a delay. Turn your volume down, John, on the computer.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. He wants to know, are place bets good bets, and should you keep pressing? And I know you teach this in your class.
Place betting is better.
Turn that volume down on your computer, John, because you're on a delay. But he's going to lifted views. Place bets are great. John, go talk to him about place bets.
I'm going to have to leave the computer. We got a bad connection.
Yeah, well, turn the volume down. See, we're on a delay, John, so you have to turn the volume down because you and I are on real time. Anyways, the question is, are place bets good bets?
I'm going to try to answer the question.
Good.
Because the computer is down.
Okay.
The place betting is a ball game. As far as I'm concerned, right betting, you gave a tremendous analysis of the number of chances you have to win, as opposed to the number of chances you have to lose, based on the percentages, which you so clearly laid out. Now, for you people, that's a right bettor. I happen to be a wrong bettor. All right, but the right betting that Gary was showing you was right on. He's showing you exactly what you have to do to get the maximum out of your time at the dice table. And all I can add to that is place betting is the way to play if you're a right bettor. If you're a wrong bettor, the way to play is wait for a point to be established and then lay against that point if it's a 4 or a 10. If it's a 5 or a 6, you lay against a 4. If it's an 8 or a 9, you lay against a 10. You always lay against the hardest numbers to make. As Gary just pointed out, the hardest numbers to make are the 4 and the 10. So obviously, when you bet in the don't side, you go back and you bet against the 4 and the 10. I constantly lay odds, but I don't bet against no 6, no 8, no 5, no 9. Why should I? I bet against a 4 and I bet against a 10 because there's only 3 ways to make each. And I was listening to Gary talk about the percentages of making these numbers. He was right on. If you pick up the things he was showing you and then taking the side that you want to take, I personally am a wrong many good things about the, by the way, he never mentions his own book, Platinum Craps. Get that darn thing. It is, I'm telling you, I'm not a right better, and I am not a dice setter. I do not set the dice because I never touch the dice. When I bet on the right side, I bypass the come out roll and place the 6 and the 8. I got the 6 and the 8, the two easiest numbers to make. 100% of the time I play. When I bet against the dice, I bet against the 4 and against the 10. They're the two hardest numbers to make. There's only 3 ways to make a 4, and Gary pointed all this out. He made a fantastic example, and that's what two people have to do. You don't have to memorize everything he said, but just think of what he said. The flow of the dice. I mean, he shows you things that, and he knows about it. Read his book, Platinum Dice. It's got it all in there. Now, I am not a right better, so all I care about is the 6 and the 8. So I have the 6 and the 8, 1,000% out of 1,000 games because I bypass a come out roll no matter what numbers come as a point. 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. I place a 6 and the 8. That's the way I play. That does not mean that you have to play that way, but that's the way I play. If I'm going to bet the don't side at a cold table, I never lay against come through the don't pass or don't come through the don't come. Why should I get stuck with a 6 or 8 if I'm betting against the dice? I wait until after the point's established, and then I lay against the 4 or against the 10. If the point is 4, I lay against the 4. If it's a 5, I lay against the 4. If it's a 6, I lay against the 4. If it's an 8, 9, or 10, I lay against a 10. I'm always laying against the hardest number to make. I don't want to interrupt Gary with his thing, but
No, John, that's why we bring you on. But here's the thing. We're going to get into another question, a myth, and I think you're going to love this one because this is right up your alley. So let me bring up the book real quick. If you guys have the book, if I can find it, there's so many things on here. You can't believe all the buttons I got to push. All right, so this is myth number 3. And Miss Andrea, what is myth number 3?
All right. Myth number 3 is every roll of the dice is 100% random during the game.
All right, so you've heard this before. Every roll is random and the dice have no memory. Well, I disagree with that to a certain extent. The gentleman asked about charting numbers or writing down numbers, okay? As we said earlier, if the 7 was rolled every 6 rolls, we just go out and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'd hop the 7 for $100 per each combination. But it's never going to happen that way, okay? So you're going to see what they call signature numbers, all right? And a signature number is a number that's being rolled during that session. You may see 3 or 4 6s in a small session. If I see a number roll 2 to 3 times within 5 rolls, I'm on it, because that's called a cluster number or a signature number. How come the dice didn't roll 6, 8, 6, 8, 6, 8, according to Hoyle? Because, again, you're there for such a short period of time, maybe 100, 200 rolls out of 10,000. Anything can happen in that short period of time. Again, it's like being in the Mickey Mouse Club on Wednesday. Miss Andrea, do you know what Wednesday was on the Mickey Mouse Club? I know you're new to this. All right. Well, Wednesday was anything can happen day.
Oh.
So anything can happen, guys, in that short period of time. Like I said, I was trying to roll 6s and 8s. I hit 12 field numbers in a row. I wasn't even trying for field numbers, but the energy was there. I just saw my friend Louis Van Dyke says out of 495 rolls, the pass line points are going to win 134. You take 134 divided by 495. That's 27%. Maybe, maybe not. I've seen tables where there's 5, 6, 7 shooters, 7 out in a row. Okay? You have to chart the table and bet accordingly. There is no rule, according to Hoyle, that's going to work for every table. Remember, there's 4 tables: the hot table, the cold table, the choppy table, and the torpedo table. Well, I'm telling you, if you're at a torpedo table, it's not going to be 27%. If you're at a choppy table, it's not going to be 27%. So all these myths that you see in books, they don't always work, okay? These mathematicians take it to a certain level. You know, they give you the house vig, but they never take it to the next level and give you your ROI. And that is the key, guys. How much are you betting? How much are you winning? And what's your return on investment? Remember, there's no house vig on a losing bet. None. And when you go up to a cashier's cage and you try to cash out, they're not going to say, sir, I don't care if you read a book. We don't pay you on your house vig. We pay you on how much money you win. All right, show me the chips. Okay, the books you read have nothing to do with what you're going to do at the cashier's cage. It's all about chips and how much money you take at the table. That's the key to this. So all these guys put the cart in front of the horse. We put the horse in front of the cart. I think it's really important. John, I don't know if you heard that question about every number is random and you're going to just roll, you know, you're not going to roll certain numbers in a certain game. Do you want to add anything about cluster numbers, signature numbers, and you know, numbers rolling random?
See, I have a different opinion, but it's very interesting. Listen to your theories of because I know some of the things you even said, but that's because you delve into this. You go deep into the game itself, a lot deeper than someone like me does. I am a rum bettor who charts the tables. If I decide when I walk into a casino I'm going to bet don't today, then I look for cold tables. If I'm going to bet right today, I'm going to look for hot tables. It's as simple as that. That's just the way I do it. Now, if I'm going to bet on the right side, I place the 6 and the 8, and I got them 1,000 at them 1,000 times. But Gary is showing you the background of the odds of things happening at the table. Listen to what he said. There are things on there that he said that I didn't even know about. I mean, and I've been playing craps since Christ was an altar boy. I started back in 1953, and that's when I started playing craps. I got my head handed to me until I found out, like, gee, what the heck should I bet the pass line for? If I bet the pass line, I could get the 4, 5, 9, or 10 as my point. I don't want the 4, 5, 9, 10. If I stopped it in 1960, late 1960s, I stopped betting the pass line. I haven't made a pass line bet in, 60, 50 years. But I always have the 6 and the 8 working for me in every game when I'm betting right. And the same is true on the don't side. I never come through the don't pass. I never come through the don't come. I lay against the 4 and against the 10 because it's the two hardest numbers to make. And I hope you listen to what Gary showed you about these possibilities. He's got it all right. Read his book, Platinum Craps. I've read it, and even though I disagree with some of the things that he says, I can say that on the air. Gary and I know each other for 1,000 years. But we can disagree on the theory, but you can't take away the facts that he laid out for you tonight. So that's all I got to say. I don't bet when I'm going to bet don't, I don't bet a hot table, and vice versa. If I'm going to bet against, I never bet. If I see 6s and 8s coming, I'm walking. There's so many tables in the casino. So go ahead, Gary. I'm listening. I'd rather hear you explain those things to them because you're making a lot of sense, and I'm listening.
All right, well, number 2 we're going to get into. I'm going to have Miss Andrea read it. It's something new about a new system that came out. But then I want you to come in on the number 1 myth in craps. And, John, this is right up your alley. So hang on. In about 2 minutes, we're going to bring you back on. So, Miss Andrea, let's go with the second myth that's been written in a lot of books.
All right, so the second myth, number 2, only bet on a random roller after they rolled 5-point numbers, aka the 5-count system.
All right, so I don't know how many people are familiar with the 5-count system, but I have the book right here. All right, and basically what it says is only bet on random rollers after they get through 5 rolls, and then you can bet on the shooter. Well, remember, they're only betting on the do shooter, but there's the don't table. So, and here's the other thing. I want to read this. I don't know if you guys have this book. And I'm reading what the author says, so don't send me any texts or messages. I don't want to hear about it. All right, you have a question, talk to Dominic LaRugio from Golden Touch Craps. The 5 count is still a losing way to bet. Nowhere do I say that using the 5 count will make you a winner. Why is that? Because no betting method can make you a winner because all the bets in the crap table carry a negative house edge. But if you throw in your comp times, you'll gain a slight advantage, okay? All we're trying to do is get on positive rollers, which are 43% of the time. All right, so I said, well, listen, there's 2 sides of a coin, guys. There's the A side and the B side. There's a do side and a don't side. Let's go to the table, all right? So I came up with the Garrison 5 count don't system. Now, this is their book. This is their numbers. They said that 57% of the shooters are going to 7 out. I don't know if it's that high, but we'll go with their numbers. So I said, let's start on the don't pass line. If the shooter 7s out within 5 rolls, as the book tells you, guess what? You win. Real simple. If it gets past the 5 count, you may, at your option, because a lot of people say don't take your bet off the don't, but we're playing the 5 count system, you may take that bet off and place the number. John likes the 6 and 8s, but you can place any number you want. So now you put the odds in your favor. If he 7s out within 5 rolls, you win. If he gets past the 5 rolls, you may, at your option, then place any of the numbers. But they're only looking at it from one side of the situation. They're only looking for a do shooter. And I say, oh, wait a minute. I can count, let's say I can count 1, I can count 2, I can count 3, I can count 4. Oh, now I'm allowed to make a bet? Really? I'm going to start on the don't side. And I'll tell you what, I've been playing this system, and I've been winning the majority of the time. Last month, when Jeremy was doing his DiceCon event, a really good player, I won't mention his name, but I think he's watching. We went to play at Ellis Island, okay? And he had a good roll, I had a good roll. But during the random rollers, I looked at him and I said, I'm going to play the 5 count don't system. I won about 90% of those bets because these random rollers were going 2 and out, 3 and out, 4 and out. Instead of just standing there going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, excuse me, now I'm allowed to make a bet? I was winning money on all these shooters betting on the 5 count don't system. So every system works on occasion. Every system fails on occasion. I love the 5 count don't system because now the odds are in your favor. And I don't know if it's as high as 50%, 57%, what they say. I think it's more about 50 to 51. But let's go with their odds. 57% is 5.7 out of 10 shooters. You're going to win on the don't pass line. What's wrong with that? I'll take those odds any day of the week. So it's just another way to look at a system that's been written in the book. All right? So you have to look at both sides of the table. All right, what do we have? Anything up here? Pick up some things. All right, so let's see. Oh, now, are you ready for this, guys? Okay. We're getting down to the number 1 myth in the game of craps. And John, I hope you're listening because this is going to be your favorite. Miss Andrea, tell us the number 1 myth in the game of craps.
All right, and the number 1 myth in the game of craps is always take a pass line bet and a come bet with odds because you are getting the lowest house edge at the table.
Oh my God, how many times have you read this? Take the lowest house edge, take a pass line bet and a come bet because you're getting the lowest house edge. Well, I've said it once, I'll say it again. All this house edge is crap. You're not playing for house edge. You're playing for money, all right? All right? So I did a show called Casino Math versus Real Math. Please take time, go up to your window and put in Casino Math versus Real Math. But I don't care what book you have. Every book is cut and pasted the same information in all these books. You know, this book, take a pass line, then take 2 come bets. Everyone says, oh, Garrison, you don't understand the math. Get the Wizard of Odds. Well, I got his book, all right? It says, bet the pass line, take 2 come bets. Bet the don't and lay the maximum odds. Well, we already covered that. It just goes on and on and on. I mean, every book I have says, take a pass line. Here's my favorite, Casino for Dummies. At least I got the title right, all right? Because if you play like this, then you're right in this category. Let's take a quick look. I'm going to do this quick. Oh, and here's a book that I have in my collection that I love. It's called CRAPS by the Numbers. If you can find this book on Amazon, buy it. This is by a real mathematician, and it goes over all the percentages. I learned a lot from this book. I'm just going to read one quick excerpt. Place bets versus come bets. Many players instinctively think that covering the come bets backed by full odds is financially preferable by simply placing an equivalent bet on the point because the odds portion is paid accordingly to true odds. Overlooked is the fact that come bets itself is only paid even money, regardless of what the point is. While it's true that the place bet is paid at less than true odds, the entire bet is paid at that rate. That fact is responsible for the evidence of following the chart. They give you a chart. Place bets always pay better than come bets, backed by at least 2 to 3 times odds. All right? So real quick, and I'm going to go to the table. I'm going to do this quick, but go to casino math versus real math. Let's say your point's 5. I'm going to make this real simple. Geranimals for adults. Okay? You've got $20 on the basic bet, and you've got, we'll give you $10 odds. Okay, this is the come better and pass line better. All right, let me go. All right, I'm going to, now you can see it. I'll come in through here. So your come better and pass line better has got $10 on the pass line or come bet, $10 odds. The place better has the same amount of money, $20. Okay? And for the the sharpshooter, the guy that really knows what he's doing, he's buying the bet for 30. We'll get into that. All right, so 20, 20, 30. Now let's look at the return on investment. The books say you're getting 0.8% on the come bet with odds, and that's true. I agree with that, but I don't care about house vig. That doesn't mean anything to me. All right, I'm going to bring out this sheet for you. All right, let's pay him off. This guy bet 20. He wins $10 even money, only $10, and he wins 15 for his odds. Okay, he bet 20 to win 25. Get your calculator out, guys. Okay, that's 125% return on investment. That's what he made. The place better wins 7 for 5, 7 for 5, 7 for 5, 7 for 5. What's 7 times 4? Anyone? Anyone? 28. He's fighting a house vig of 4%, but he won $28. That's a return on investment of 140%. This guy won 25, return on investment of 125% at 0.8 vig. This place better house vig at 4% won $28. Now, when you get to $30, you can buy the number. It pays 45 minus the vig, which is 25. It pays 44. All right? Get your calculator out. Now, this person's paying the very highest house advantage, 5%. My camera just went off. All right, so let me come back here. All right. I'm going to turn the camera off and reset it. After an hour, it just shuts off. Okay, so the come better won 25%, or 125%, won $25. The place better won $28 at 140% at 4%. The buy better won 45 minus the dollar, 45%. And he's paying the 5% vig. His return on investment is 146%. So do you see what's going on? All right, I'm going to see if I can go back to the camera real quick. I want to show you this. Well, it's not shown. All right, I'll show it to you here. So I hope you can see this. Bet, win, house edge, ROI. The place or the pass line and come better. Bet 10, $10 odds. He wins 25 at 0.8%. Return on investment's 125. That's the math. Place better. Bets 20, wins 28 at a 4% house edge. His return's 140%. The buy better. Bet 30 won 45 minus the vig 44 at a high house edge of 5%, his return is 146%. Here's your recap, okay? Buy bet, 146 at 5% commission. Place bet, 140%, 4% commission. Come bet and pass line, 125% at 0.8. Unfortunately, these guys don't tell you that. They just say, well, you get a lowest house edge. Well, when a scientist goes into a laboratory, he just does half the formula. He does the whole formula. And these guys stop at house edge. They never take it to the next level. And that's what I did in the book. I took the book and I did a whole chapter called Come Multi Faithful and Place My Bets at the Table. I give you the chart, return on investment from single times odds all the way to 100 times odds for the 4, the 5, the 6, the 8, the 9, the 10. All right, so when you go to the casino and you go to the cage and the guy goes, well, I read a book. I should get paid more because I played for a lower house edge.
No!
The lady in the cage is going to go, we don't care about your stinking house edge.
No!
We don't pay on those stinking house
No!
edge. We pay on chips.
No!
Bring me more chips and I'll give you more money. Don't put the cart in front of the horse. Start playing for ROI. And what happens when the come better wins? He gets his money back and has to start all over. In Vegas, we call them yo-yo bettors. Up and down, up and down, up and down. But place better has options. Same bet, press it, regress it, make it look like the dice go off the table 3 times, turn my bets off for 1 or 2 rolls. The come better's naked. He has no control over his bet. The house owns that bet. The place better has control over those bets. John, are you listening to that?
I'm listening, but I've lost my computer.
All right, don't worry about the computer. Just they're talking about come bets versus place bets, and I know this is a real big issue with you. These guys say bet the come because you get a lower house edge, and I want you to address that.
Hey, Gary, let me interrupt you for 1 second.
Go ahead.
Andrea said a great. What's her name? Andrea.
Andrea.
Yeah. Andrea said a great thing the other day. A couple of minutes ago, the number 1 myth in gambling, the number 1 myth, MYTH, is people think that the house big is important. The house big is not that important. If you want a low big, bet $5 on the pass line, and when a point comes, lay $150 at the odds. Let's suppose the point was 10. You're going to get $300 for your 150, 100%. That is such a myth. The number 1 myth that you and Andrea were talking about, boy, if people would just listen to that, the 5 count. The 5 count is a lot of regular station. I can't say nothing. But my God, I don't know why people, all they think about, Garrett, is, what's my odds?
What's my house big? Yeah, what's my house big? It doesn't matter. In one of your videos, you say that the house big on the 6 and 8 place unit is 1.6. The house big on the come is 0.7. That's a difference of like 0.6. It means nothing. You know, it's how much money you win.
You're right. It means nothing.
It's ridiculous.
And when people realize that, exactly what you've been telling them all night, if they would just realize house big, take the house big, and that is so ridiculous. If you want to lower your big to the lowest amount, bet, like I said, 5, 10, 15, 20, and then take $200 odds behind the line. Your miss is going to be about .008. So what?
Yeah.
If a 7 comes, you're dead in the water, and you're on your way home 10 minutes after you got there.
Right. You know, I said if you lay 1,000.
I am enjoying everything you're saying. Go ahead. I'm still sitting here.
No, I said if you're on the don't side and you're laying 100 times odds, you're laying 1,010 on a 4 to win 510. You know, your house vig is 0.01%, but your return on investment is 50%. Why would you give up all that money? You know, all these guys say play for the lowest house vig, play for the lowest house vig. Yeah, you'll go bankrupt before you can say color coming in. We want you to play to win more money. And that's why John and I developed a super system. You know, John's books are the only books that I've read that don't say bet for the lowest house big. Play for more money, all right? Learn the big four, the little three: bankroll, knowledge, money management, discipline. Then learn the little three: theory, how to play, logic. Play logical, all right? Not house big. All this house big is crap. And then chart the table, trends dominate. So, you know, you get all this information, not only in the books, but we put it on a flash drive for you. I mean, we have so many players that have switched over to the Platinum Craps Super System. These guys were just beginners. They read one book. Now they're becoming really, really major players. I mean, I won't mention all their names, but we got Danny, we got Shannon. I just worked with a lady named Naomi. I mean, and when I read their information, I'm so happy they're becoming better players. And they say, no one ever taught me this information before. Because all the books say the same thing. Make a bet that pays the lowest house big, and you're going to be the best player at the casino. It doesn't work that way, okay? So, you know, use some common sense, all right? All right, so where are we at? In fact, I was reading the newest book I have in my collection is the book from Golden Touch, Dominic LaRuggio. And boy, if you're a come better, this is the book you want, because it just goes over come bets by anything. It tells you how many cents you're going to win or lose by making certain bets, okay? And here's some of the comments. And remember, don't send me any messages, all right? But here's what it says on page 99. People that meet me say I'm very blunt, that I tell it like it is, I don't hold back. You have to be an idiot. John, I hope you're listening. You have to be an idiot not to be a come better. And if anyone tells you different in person or in craps books or on YouTube videos, they are idiots. It is all about the math. Well, I agree about that, but house return on investment has a higher math than your house vig. So, you know, they're just telling you bet to come, bet to come. They don't take it to the next level. Right? And then on page, well, I went over the 5-count system, okay? Then it says here, the math is the math, which I agree with. You can't argue with it. So any so-called craps teacher or guru out there on the internet that writes and tells you a come bet is a bad bet is just wrong. And you should stop listening or reading their, watching their videos. BTW, which means by the way, their books make great starters for your fireplace in the winter. And then he says, if you don't believe what this is in this book, you should burn all your other books because only the information in this book is valid. I didn't write it, all right? But I think it's a real ballsy statement to say that every other book out there is wrong and that only the information in this book is correct. So, John, anything else you want? We're going to be wrapping up the show pretty soon. Anything else you want to get into or talk about?
I've lost the computer. No, I'll just say, before you go off, have Andrea, I'm going to have to go off now because everything is blinking.
All right, no problem.
Have Andrea just repeat the number one myth. I mean, the 5-count and all that baloney. The number one myth in gambling is that you shoot for the lowest bid. That is so... Repeat that before I won't hear you because I have to get off because I can just about hear you. But for you people, he gave a fantastic show tonight. And let me tell you something. I listened, and I agree with what Gary said, especially when they got down to the number one myth. I like the way him and Andrea emphasized that. Well, forget about house percentage. Forget about percentages. Please forget that. It's a lot of baloney. So go ahead, Gareth. I can't hear you anymore.
We want to thank John for sticking around answering those questions.
It was a pleasure talking to you, and Andrea, it's an extra special pleasure talking to you. But before you go off, Gareth, just repeat that thing.
I'm going to have her do it right now, John.
All right.
Listen, take care. I know you were a little under the weather. Everyone thanks you for coming on the show and answering questions. We'll see you next show. It's going to be called Lady Luck. energy of the universe, the energy of the table. We're going to talk about charting and some other things that we'll get into. So I'll talk to you in a day or two, and thank you again.
I'll talk to you. By the way, will Andrea be back the next show?
Oh, yeah, she will be here.
Okay. Oh, then I'll definitely watch.
Yeah, nobody cares about me. All they want to do is see the co-host. Okay?
Of course.
I know.
Go ahead, Gary. I'll talk to you during the week.
All right, thank you very much, John. Bye-bye.
Okay.
All right, so John wanted Miss Andrea to read the number one myth again, real quick.
Okay.
What was the number one myth?
The number one myth.
Yeah, hang on. Let's get that.
Oh, let's get the drum roll. The number one myth in the game of craps is always take a pass line bet and a come bet with odds because you are getting the lowest house edge at the table.
Well, the table will whip you apart if you keep doing that. So, anyways, we just want you to play for a larger return on investment. Take more money to the cashier's cage. And I told you I was reading this book. This is my newest book in my collection. All right. This one kills me. I mean, there's some unbelievable statements in here. But he said, if you don't believe what's in this book, you're an idiot and you have to burn all your other books. Well, don't burn your books, guys. Donate them, take them to Goodwill. The library will take books, but it's not good for the environment. But we're going to do a little mock situation. Let's say you were going to burn some books. Miss Andrea, read the books that I'm sure he would want to burn. Number one.
Number one book that this person wants to burn is the Platinum Craps and Dice Setting book.
Oh, well, that here, let me have it. All right. So, Platinum Craps and Dice Setting. That book, I'm sure he'd want to burn. We'll put that in our little pan. Number two, John
Patrick's beginning and intermediate book on craps.
All right, let me have that.
Oh, boy.
Let's burn John Patrick's beginning and intermediate book. Nobody wants to read that. Number three,
John's the 600-page advanced book on craps, a.k.a. the Holy Grail.
Oh,
you can't burn the Holy Grail.
The Holy Grail. All right, so we're going to have to burn that book according to the to Mr. Five Count. So we just burned John's book. What's the next book?
Number four. Steve Heavy Haltom, Access Power Craps.
All right, Steve, I have your Access Power Craps. Very interesting manuscript, a lot of great information. I cut it down a little bit, but I really enjoyed reading this. This is from Steve, a.k.a. Haltom, Access Power Craps. We have to burn that. Sorry, Steve, but that goes into the fire. And what's the last book?
The last one is Tony Leo. Super 7 Hop System.
The Super 7 Hop System. I have a copy of that somewhere in my collection, all right? And Tony gets into multiple bets and, hop bets and everything like that. So, I'm sorry, Tony, we have to burn that book.
Okay,
so we have all the books in the fire, all right? Now, don't do this at home, but I'm only doing what a lot of people read and they just follow the sheep. So it says burn all your books. So let's see what happens when we burn all of our best books, including Platinum Craps, John Patrick, Tony Leo, Steve Haltman. Okay? Whoa! All right, so we just burned all those books. After you burn all your books, what's left? Oh, well, here's what we got left. The only thing that's left that you can read is The Complete Guide to Winning at Craps. That's left. Here's some of the books we just burned. You've got Gambling for Dummies. Well, at least they got the title right on that book. And you've got The Wizard of Odds and all his lower house edge. So that's about the only books you have left after you burned all your other books. Sorry about that. Anyways, we hope you enjoyed the show. I do want to say one thing. I went on the internet and I found a really interesting article. This gentleman did all the 19 top books on the internet. It's by Michael Stevens in casino and gambling. This was done April 2nd, 2017. It says, I've gathered a list of 19 craps books for all players. These books include information for people who know nothing about craps to people who are on their way to being professional. These books are all written by popular gambling professionals. Number one book, John Patrick's Advanced Book, written by John Patrick. This book is intended for players who already know, have a good understanding of the fundamentals of craps. He introduces the Patrick system and other systems. He claims that these are the best odds. He goes over things like money management, key to success, discipline, bankroll. John focuses on winning over time. This is not a one-on-one done book. His strategies learn how to make consistent wins. That's the key. I also want to show you one other thing. I went online and I looked up, let's compare craps to sports. You know, Pete Rose was the number one hitter in all the sports. He did 4,236 hits, all right? But he only had 160 home runs out of all those hits. So I took 160 home runs, divided into how many hits he had. You know how many home runs he hit? 3%. 3%, and he was the number one hitter of all time. Now, what does that tell you? What that tells me is he was looking for a day's pay. The majority of his hits were singles. Let's say you're at the craps table. You're getting 10, 20% a day's pay. Then he did some doubles. Then he did some triples. But he only had 3% home runs. So all these guys that go up to the table and say, oh, I'm going to roll the dice for 20, 25 rolls, they're looking for home runs. It's the 80-20 rule. 80% of his hits were singles, a few doubles, a few triples, and only 3% home runs. So when you go up to the craps table, say to yourself, I'm going to go for a day's pay. If I only hit a single, a small win is better than a small loss any day of the year. All right? All these guys want to hit home runs, but the tables are now becoming more bouncy. And when you're playing at your own table and you're marking all your numbers into the computer, yeah, you're playing in your underwear. There's no chips at the other end of the table. You have no distractions. You're very relaxed. Then when you go to the casino, there's all kinds of chips at the end of the table. Your adrenaline kicks in. You can hardly hold the dice. The boxman's looking at you. He's calling upstairs saying, film this guy. The waitresses are coming up to you. I mean, you have all these distractions that you don't have when you're at home. So it totally changes your perception. The 100 rolls you bet, or the 100 rolls you booked into the computer when you were playing, have nothing to do with the 100 rolls you're going to do at the casino. They're totally different. Again, it's like being on a Mickey Mouse Club. Anything can happen, guys. So what you do at home has nothing to do with what you do in the casino. What's the old additive? I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for the hamburgers I have on Monday. Well, it's the same thing. I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for the rolls I do on Monday. It's like the weather. It changes every day. So anyways, we got to get going, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Stop by next week. Go for your day's pay. Don't always try to hit a home run because you're not that good. I'm not the best dice setter in the casino, but I know I can roll 10, 12, rolls. I hedge bet. I'm looking for a day's pay, all right? That's the key to this game. Don't try to always hit home runs because you're not going to do it. So let's bring back Miss Andrea. Put on your little hat. We're going to get ready to say, there you go. Give him a kiss, all right? Listen, guys, we had a great show. I hope you learned a couple things. We want to thank you. All right, we're going to come back next show, and we're going to do a new show. We'll be here next year. I'm having a drink. I'm going to fill this whole bottle. I'm done. Can't even talk. Leave a comment down below. Hopefully you'll give us a thumbs up. Go up to the top. Look up Casino Math versus Real Math. Watch that show. Look at dice setting. Get into what John Patrick says. Order the secrets. You can go online if you haven't been online. Go to www.craps.com. I can't even find it. Or you can check us out. Anyways, we'll see you next week. What a thanks to Sandra. Hope you learned a few things. Thanks for all your questions and comments, guys. We really enjoyed it. All right. That's a wrap. Have a great summer.